it. Yes, I felt like I won the lottery when my standby seat was cleared and I made it onto the flight this week. It was one of those days trying to travel in the aftermath of a snow and ice storm. After the first flight was canceled, I politely declined the automatic rebook by changing planes in Nashville. That, of course, I checked, and no, didn't actually make it to DC. And the standby flight was continuously delayed. I was number 6 on the list. I made many friends and learned the life stories of other flyers that day. One fellow passenger even said, "Oh my goodness, you're traveling with your pop up banner. You have to get on this flight." Snow, ice, and travel delays didn't stop many other privacy pros either from gathering for the first Privacy State of the Union hosted by Red Clover Advisors alongside Kelley Drye and Ketch for an all-day summit at Kelley Drye's beautiful New Washington, D.C. offices. We heard some other amazing travel stories. People braved canceled flights. Some had so many delays that they didn't get to their hotel room until 4 a.m. Others were scraping snow and ice. One person had relied on the help of a stranger using a chain to help dig their stuck car. Others donned long coats and boots, walking, and some stayed overnight to avoid slick roads. One thing is clear. Privacy pros are passionate to gather and learn from each other, and that we did. Our agenda was packed with sessions with forecasting the privacy and AI legislation season, fireside chats with regulators, conversations with privacy professionals, tackling tough issues like children's data, sensitive data and advertising, discussions on media, CTV, and a lot of hallway sidebars. All that travel heartache and months of preparation were worth it when we've heard from people who made new friends, made new mentors, met in real life for the first time, and have shared their favorite takeaways with their own teams and on social media for others to learn. So what did we cover? We started with what's happening on the state privacy front. State privacy laws are still expanding and fast. In a discussion moderated by Molly Crawford of IEB, Andrew Kingman of Mariner Strategies, and Evangelos Razis from the House Energy and Commerce Committee walked us through what we might expect this year. Remember how 2025 was the first year in 4 years where no new state passed a comprehensive privacy law? Just amendments. Well, don't get comfortable. Pay close attention to the Northeast. Vermont and Massachusetts are moving forward in tandem with similar bills. Massachusetts has 2 bills in the same committee right now, and we should expect to see a draft in the next few weeks. In the Southeast, Arkansas, Georgia, and Oklahoma are states to watch, as is the Pacific Northwest. Many companies are still grappling with CIPA lawsuits. For comparison, in 2022, there were 2,800 CIPA lawsuits, and it's estimated to be about 10 times that many demand letters now. The industry is hoping to find a solution by the end of the year, yet privacy attorneys also warn that plaintiff attorneys are crafty, so companies are not out of the woods yet. It's important that companies balance CIPA and business risk. 18 bills have advanced to the full committee, falling into 3 buckets. Well-known updates like COPPA 2.0, state analogs, and emerging tech concerns like chatbots, where we're still figuring things out. The age verification piece is getting serious attention through bills like the Screen Act and the App Store Accountability Act. Relying on minors to check a box isn't working anymore, and legislators know it. Here's the complicated part. Age gating brings real constitutional challenges, and we may see it litigated. We've already seen Colorado and Connecticut add children's provisions to their laws, and those haven't been challenged yet. Chatbots. There are a lot of AI bills targeted at protecting kids and their engagement with chatbots, so stay tuned on these. Will there be a federal privacy law? Rumor has it they're planning to put forth a legislative draft this year, and they're trying to learn from what states have already done. Many committee members have comprehensive privacy frameworks in their home states and want to build on those lessons rather than start from scratch. The FTC is ramping up, and protecting kids is a priority. We moved on to a discussion with FTC's Director of the Bureau of Consumer Protection, Chris Mufarage, moderated by Elisa Hutnick of Kelley Drye. He shared that his office is down 60 FTEs and actively hiring anyone. Know anyone looking for a job? He shared the FTC's priorities, which will focus on children's data. It will avoid AI regulations and probably sparing rulemaking. Children's data will continue to play a big role in the enforcement docket in the coming year, he said. The Commission will also be focusing on how age verification interacts with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act to identify any tension between the two and how we should resolve it. Major updates to state and federal regulations are expected to take center stage in 2026, so now is the time to prepare for more robust COPPA compliance. Age assurance, age verification, and age signaling will be critical areas to watch, and the expanded scope of regulatory language capturing companies that don't traditionally focus on children's data signals the need for all organizations to move toward a mature compliance framework. For companies who process kids, including teens data, paying attention to these federal and state bills is important to focus on. Remember, when we talk about kids beyond COPPA, teens are included. And a privacy sidebar. His response to the question, what's the best advice you've ever got from a mentor? Don't let your inbox set your agenda. If the day-to-day overtakes you, you'll get lost and won't do what you set out to do. That's good advice for all of us in privacy, honestly. Great reminder that I know I'll put into practice. Just like state privacy regulators are working together, finally expect to see more collaboration between the FTC and the states. Everyone really is trying to solve this age verification puzzle. And the panel with Jen Chang from Disney, Julian Corbett from Open Age Initiative, and Aubrey Wesser from Verizon, moderated by Laura Vendruff from Kelley Drye, got into the weeds on what keeps privacy pros up at night. And it's age verification and what happens when different signals conflict. Here's the challenge. If you have reliable evidence that someone is 13 versus 18, what approach do you take? Are you in line with age assurance frameworks or ignoring them? Age assurance laws fundamentally change the landscape because companies will then have actual information, not just self-reported ages. That means COPPA compliance plus age design code laws may also apply. There was discussion that trying to operationalize this state by state is going to be incredibly hard. Another concern that came up repeatedly is people don't want to upload sensitive biometric information to multiple sites. There's real worry this could break the internet if everyone has to verify their age separately on hundreds of sites they've never heard of. The industry needs to find common ground and workable frameworks. More questions arose like, if you get age information in an app, how does that apply to the web? Do you need to process it, maybe store the signal or the full date of birth? This gets expensive. And apply it to all user experiences across marketing, product, and front-end disclosures. Is the App Store consent enough for COPPA compliance? Then there's the sensitive data concern. If you get age information, what controls and firewalls do you have so that others don't get it and can't use it for other purposes? No, marketing team. You can't use consent data for marketing purposes. We shifted to thoughts from regulators. John Eakins, Deputy Attorney General in Delaware, Paul Singer, currently at Kelley Drye and formerly from the Texas Attorney General's office, shared a refreshingly practical regulator perspective. As moderator, Elisa Hutnick reminded the audience that regulators are people too. They go on websites, apps, and can see what's in a privacy notice, how a cookie consent software is working, what kind of data is being collected, and what's not working or doesn't feel right. Delaware's office is looking at mobile devices, connected TVs, business practices, and mobile SDKs, and asking companies, how does information get shared to third parties? John's advice was direct. Know your data flow across devices. Be sure you can exercise choice, know who you're buying from and selling to. Delaware asks this all the time of companies, and they expect you to do sophisticated diligence. Now is a good time to figure out, can your company answer these questions? Here's where it gets interesting. If you get an inquiry, you have an opportunity to build credibility with the AG's office. A heavy-handed litigation approach from day one may raise defenses, making it more difficult. Delaware's biggest pet peeve? Privacy policies that say you may have the right to opt out. That's not going to cut it. If you're a resident of Delaware, they want to have the list of rights clearly stated. Also, if your privacy policy has a date on top that says January 24, expect them to get out the red marker. Pro tip. Go and do a date check and make sure it's in the current year. Beyond privacy laws, Both AGs emphasized they're also looking at UDAP laws. Each state has their own unfair, deceptive, or abusive acts of practices, which can absolutely include privacy issues. One business activity can trigger multiple types of scrutiny, such as UDAP, privacy, and security concerns all at once. We then moved to CTV and media, the old tech that needs new attention. Colleen Berry of Ketch moderated a great session on media, CTV, and ad tech. Max Anderson from Ketch dropped some truth about connected TV that people don't fully appreciate. Old tech matters. Physical devices have physical constraints that create unique privacy challenges. Andrew Hall from EchoStar shared music to my ears on cookie digital governance. They have business teams do quarterly reviews of what pixels are on the site. This is a great example of how business teams can get engaged, shifting privacy activities from just legal and compliance. They've created a checklist and training for each brand and require 1 to 2 people from each brand to participate in quarterly discussions. Next up, after writing this newsletter, I'm finishing the final touches on a web technology governance training. We're doing a 101 version to educate broadly in the need of requirements, the organization's tech governance policy. And then we'll have a 201 version to go deeper on web tech risks and how to actually review a new web tech pixel. Trisha Cross from Fox Corporation offered great final advice. Hold hands tightly with internal teams. It can't just be privacy or legal managing all the requirements. We moved to a conversation with Mike Macko, head of enforcement, CalPrivacy. Coben Zwiefel-Keegan from the IPP moderated the fireside chat with Michael Macko, head of enforcement at CalPrivacy, formerly known as the CPPA, the California Privacy Protection Agency. Mike was full of so many nuggets. It's hard to really summarize them all. He reminded the audience about inferences and how that counts as personal information. He also emphasized something really important about enforcement philosophy. CalPrivacy is not just looking for technical compliance violations. They go through interfaces as consumers to find opt-out user experience issues. Different enforcement actions may highlight different parts of the law to highlight the importance of each topic. For example, Tractor Supply emphasized employee privacy. What should companies do? Think from a regulator and customer's point of view. What would a regulator or customer think of how data is being processed? Can you defend a decision that your organization made? Expect CalPrivacy, among other regulators, to be busy with enforcements in 2026. We had an amazing panel on advertising and sensitive data that was moderated by Tony Ficarata at NAI. And we had on that panel Ben Chapman from Swoop, Jen Clark from Publicis Group, and yours truly. We discussed that it's essential to know exactly what data organizations are collecting, what inferences are made, and what would the customer expect. We also dug into the reveal standard, and the answer is it depends on a lot of questions. Is it really de-identified data? What's the context? How is it collected? Great way to answer all these questions. Privacy risk assessments, and we covered those in last week's newsletter. Check out this awesome attendees post on the panel because Jeremy Mittler summarized it so well. Advertisers need to also have really good documentation to show legal compliance and highly encourage complying with the self-regulatory guidelines from NAI. If you're in media or CTV, reminder that the ecosystem has dependencies. Your privacy choices need to work across devices and platforms. If someone is logged in, can you figure out who they are without making them fill out separate forms everywhere? The bottom line is 2026 is shaping up to be a pivotal year. The message from regulators and privacy pros was clear. Know your data flows cold. If you work with kids, buckle up for a bumpy ride, perform privacy risk assessments, think from the lens of a consumer, and start with auditing your website, including privacy notices, rights, and opt-out. Every time we do this for companies, we always find something that they can tweak to make it more compliant or more clear for the consumer. And that's a wrap on the 2026 Privacy State of the Union. It was a true pleasure to work with Ketch and Kelley Drye to plan this amazing event. We're so grateful to all the speakers and attendees who spent time to prepare, bring thoughtful questions, and engage in our amazing privacy community. What's your biggest takeaway from the Privacy State of the Union recap? Drop me a line and let me know. I'm loving all the replies that I've received so far, so please keep them coming. With that, I am signing off to gear up for the next winter storm in Atlanta.